A tradition on CBS, the Sun Bowl in El Paso, Texas. Now, the last 4 Sun Bowls have been decided by one score, but that was certainly not the case today. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish putting on quite the performance, dropping 40 against Oregon State, 40-8. That was the final score. Notre Dame finishes with 10 wins this season. That is the 6th time in the last 7 seasons they get 10 wins. Oregon State finishing 8-5, just 2 rushing yards that we're seeing from the Beavers. Gary Danielson joining us here on HQ from El Paso, Texas, was just on the call for the Sun Bowl there. Thanks so much for joining us, Gary. Want to talk about Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, specifically Steve Angeli. I know he mentioned to Jenny Dell, who's on the sidelines there, that he learned how to be not just a Division I quarterback, but a D1 quarterback for Notre Dame from Sam Hartman. I mean, it looks like he learned a lot. What did you learn about Angeli from being up in the booth and seeing it firsthand?
You know, I feel a little bit like his teammates and what Marcus Freeman, his head coach, said. You know, there's so many good young players on these teams that, you know, get beat out by other good players, but that doesn't mean they're not capable of playing good football when they get their opportunity. And, you know, Steve got, you know, Sam Hartman comes in. That's the new world of college football with transfers. But, you know, he didn't run away from Notre Dame. He hung in there. He got his chance. And now, whether it's at Notre Dame, it's hard to leave Notre Dame for Steve Angeli. He loves the school, but he's going to get an opportunity to be a starting quarterback before his career is over, whether it be at Notre Dame or somewhere else. He put on a really nice show today.
Absolutely. Over 200 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, certainly making a statement there. I want to talk about Notre Dame moving forward because the quarterback wasn't only different, the O-line was completely different as well. There was a lot of opt-outs on offense, a lot of young guys getting an opportunity to play. When you look ahead, how encouraged are you by this Notre Dame team? Also, when you think about some of the guys they picked up in the portal as well for the 2024 season.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. When you think about Notre Dame, and it's been this late since I was a kid watching football, when I watched Terry Hanratty throw it to Jim Seymour, Notre Dame has had good football teams. It's a place, you know, young football players want to go. It's a great education. But I also think with the new formation of college football, I think this is great news for Notre Dame. You know, making it to the top 4, very difficult for a team not affiliated with a conference. But I think in the future, you know, I could see Notre Dame getting into the playoffs with 2 losses. That's a big difference. This year, after they lost to Ohio State, their season was almost like we need a bunch of people to lose to get back in the playoffs. They were very close to being an elite playoff team. So I think as college football's changed, we're still going to see Notre Dame up there. They're always going to attract great players. Not just their starters, but we showed today that Notre Dame has great depth in their program.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the other team, Oregon State. I know there's been a little bit of a coaching carousel, some shifts there. Their 3rd-string quarterback started at the Sun Bowl. Moving forward for them, I mean, I guess what went wrong today? We'll start there.
Well, listen, they got outmanned today. I mean, I don't think you can look at effort, you know, preparation, even, you know, play calling and coaching. Was it all perfect? No. But I don't know if anybody could have coached this team today to beat, you know, when they're undermanned the way they were. They just did not have the backup strength that Notre Dame had. But long picture, big picture here. You know, it was tough for Oregon State. You know, the Pac-12 crumbled. You know, Jonathan Smith made his name for himself as a quarterback it's his alma mater. And then he decides with college football changing the way it is, it's best for him to go into the Big Ten and take that Michigan State job. That had to hurt for Oregon State. But now they've got Trent Bray. He's another Beaver. His heart's there. He's going to continue to build it. I just hope that as this thing changes, we don't lose some of the charm of college football. The Washington States, the Oregon States, the Kansas States. I mean, people that are not the elite programs that everybody says we want to put on TV each weekend, still is the charm of college football, and I don't want anything bad to happen to these great programs.
Gary, you mentioned it the last season as members of the Pac-12 for the Beavers. Is this a playoff team next year, the next 2 years, the next 3 years? What do you think?
Yeah, it's hard for me to put my finger on that. I don't think it'll be immediate. I think as the transition goes with the Pac-12, who do they play? What's their schedule? I think it's good they're still going to play Washington State. They're still going to play Oregon. You know, how they fill that in and how they rebuild. When Jonathan Smith left, he took 8 of Oregon State's recruits with him, plus their 5-star true freshman quarterback that went with them as well. So it won't be easy, but in the long run, you know, it's a great place to play football. Their facilities are fantastic, and their fan base, will follow their team. I can only wish them the best.
Gary Danielson joining us from El Paso, from the Sun Bowl. Thank you so much for your time, Gary, and congratulations on another amazing season in the booth calling college football games. We appreciate your time. Good stuff as always. Notre Dame coming out on top over Oregon State. You see the game comparison here, and the rushing yards, probably the most drastic difference. 2 for the Beavers versus 236 for the Fighting Irish. Notre Dame coming out on top 40-8. It's the first time these two teams have met since 2004. In 2004, the Beavers won, and this go around, it was the Fighting Irish.